Hello, good evening and welcome to the State Hockey Centre at Jeps Cross for this fourth PL Friday night. Under the lights are on and there are definitely people home tonight. My name is Dave Webb. I'm here tonight with Craig Victory, the head coach of the Woodville men's side. Tonight we are watching the Forestville Panthers take on the North East District's Zuluettes tonight. It should be a great match. The North East District sitting in fourth place in the ladder at the moment. With Forestville sitting in seventh, very early on in the season, so probably not too much to be read into that. We are looking forward to a great night of hockey. Craig, it's good to have you with us. Welcome to us. You're wearing your Olympic jersey tonight.
I am. It's very bright.
It is. It's high vis. It's better safe than sorry.
Absolutely.
But you went to the Olympics in Rio with the Hockey Roos.
Hockey Roos, yep, that's right.
Which is your first occasion as a coach. How did that go for you?
Yeah, it was okay. Probably results didn't go as according to plan. We'd had certainly a good build-up leading into the Olympics, but didn't go quite according to plan, coming home without a medal, which was a bit disappointing.
But it's great to have you with us, and obviously we'll be using your expertise that you've picked up with the national side and things like that through tonight, so it's great to have you with us. Moving on to tonight's game, any thoughts on tonight's game? Who you think is going to come out on top?
Yeah, look, I think North East certainly are a building team. They've got some players in there that are of high quality, Holly Evans being one of those, as a co-coach and captain out on the pitch working with Ashley. So I'd expect Forestville to put up a good fight, but I think for this one North East might take the winner.
North East, I have heard, have got what's talked about within hockey circles as a super coach.
Yep.
He's obviously been around for a while and knows what he's talking about.
Yep. Ashley, he has been around. We played a bit of junior hockey together as well, so I'm looking forward to seeing what he's got tactically tonight with his Zulettes.
So he does have to live up to that moniker of super coach, and we'll see whether he can get through that tonight. We are about 3 minutes away from the first pushback. Absolutely wonderful to have you here with us on this beautiful Friday night. Winter is coming in. We are rugged up. We've got our big coats on. Be about 14 degrees tonight. No chance of rain. It'll be a great night for hockey. Pitch is in great condition. Been watered. Looks lovely and shiny. We look forward to seeing you. We'll be right back with you after this break.
See Premier League hockey in real time.
In real time.
In real time.
Good receive there by Simon Weld. And in front of the goal mouth.
Every goal.
Every goal. Every goal.
The ball penetrating run, open circle, 1-2 play.
Every save.
Every save.
James Minton has the opportunity, great save.
Get straight into the circle, off a stick and well saved by Amy Hammond.
Every tackle.
Every tackle.
Gets the attack into the circle. Nice tackle there.
Live.
Right here on Hockey SA.
Right here on Hockey SA.
Runs with pace. Mission to battery 2. Looks for a quick shot off the back post.
Net 25 here.
Get around it.
Get around it. Get around it.
And welcome back. As per usual on a Friday night, we are live and we are interactive. We will be monitoring your Facebook comments as we go through the night, so make sure you drop us a comment. Let us know where you're from. Make sure you like or love what we're doing so we can see the little hearts and thumbs go across the screen here. It makes us feel warm and fuzzy inside. We are just over a minute away from the first pushback. Forestville will be wearing the navy blue with the white hoop, and North East will be wearing the red shirts, the majority of red shirts with the white flashes on them. Andrew Cath has joined us. Hello and welcome to the feed, Andrew. It's good to have you with us. Just with regards to picking out some key matchups that we'll see tonight, Holly Evans in the midfield taking on Amelia Harkness, and
We've got Kendra Sylvendran versus Claudia Draper in the midfield. So two good midfield clashes there. Looking forward to seeing who comes out on top.
As we've seen through these PL Live nights, the midfield really is very, very important. If you hold that middle ground, then it gives you a great foundation to launch from.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm looking forward to seeing what formations the girls play with, whether they have two defensive midfielders or go a bit more traditional with the back four. Be very interesting to see, or whether there's some changes during the match, so we'll keep you up to date with that.
Something we've seen a lot of as well is the high striker. That's obviously something that a lot of coaches are using at the moment, just to to really stretch out the field and not compact it between the 25s. Is that something that you would use yourself, a high striker?
Yeah, just depending on, I guess, you certainly look at your tactics and scouting before you play, but a high striker is always, as you say, is to stretch out the opposition. We already mentioned it, how important the midfield is, so to leave that space for the midfield to work in and get the ball forward is very important, yeah.
Our umpires tonight, we have Charmaine Carlette and Ella Bourne, two very well respected and very experienced umpires. It's great to have them out in the middle in the high-vis yellow shirts, which is great because we can pick them out against the crowd. Talking about crowds, even though the temperature is dropping tonight, it's still quite well attended tonight here at the State Hockey Centre.
There's a great attendance. They all look very rugged up, so they've planned well for the evening, I should say.
There's nothing better, and the soup here at the Pines Cafe is absolutely fantastic. So
correct.
Come out and get yourself something to eat, and don't forget as well, we have the men's game is on after this one. So if you can get down for that one, come down and join us. Come and grab a bite to eat at the Pines Cafe. Been absolutely fantastic. Now, I'm just going to refer to my cheat sheet for you, Craig.
Yes.
Now, the first thing we want to touch on is that we had your brother Cheney last week, and he went through the chainsaw nickname. But your nickname is Jigsaw. Just talk us through.
That's right, Jig or Jigsaw. Obviously, chainsaw being his average tackling skills, I might say, back in the day. Mine went a hell of a lot better. So a mini chainsaw is a jigsaw.
Just a little bit more fun. You can get a little bit more finesse with a jigsaw than you can a chainsaw.
You can, yes.
So you're currently the coach of the Woodville men's side.
Yep.
You began playing for Port Adelaide at 11. So you moved from Port Adelaide to Woodville. Is that allowed?
Well, it's a very difficult decision, but I'm really enjoying my time at Woodville. Great bunch of guys. We're just building on, some very good foundations, but some new beginnings with the Woodville Hockey Club.
And your hockey CV, obviously we move on to 2 pages when we start talking about your achievements in hockey. You have a Olympic bronze medal, Commonwealth gold, coached the Suns, coached the Hockeyroos.
Yes.
So been there, done that is the T-shirt that you wear.
Yeah, lots of coaching. I think I'm really enjoying my experience as a coach. Wasn't a plan to get into it professionally, but just really enjoyed club coaching and then sort of took off from there.
So if we need to know something about hockey, you'll be the go-to guy for tonight.
Right here for you. Yep. Absolutely.
We are very, very, very close to the first pushback. We are waiting for a ball. Generally, that is one of the most important things with regards to hockey. And we have one, and it looks like Forestville will be attacking the left of your screens, wearing the navy blue, and Northeast Districts will be wearing the red and attacking the right of your screen. And we are underway under the lights on a Friday night. Every Friday night, every goal, every save, every tackle, every PL Friday live. Get around it. It's great to have you here with us. This broadcast brought to you by Hockey SA, powered by Space Quake Sports. Wonderful to have you with us. St. Peter's Old Collegians Hockey Club is watching us. Good to have you with us. They are supporting Steffi. The only Steph I can see is Steph Fisher, which is the goalkeeper for Forestville. As Forestville looks to have their first attacking corner of the night. As usual on these Friday nights, so we start quite slowly and just feeling each other out.
Yeah, Ferguson on the ball there. I believe she used to play for Northeast, if I'm not mistaken.
So another one who's crossed. A good interception there by Northeast as they start to mount their first attack of the evening with a good through ball there just down that right-hand side. With Sophie Collins just working down there, unfortunately unable to control it. The ball just goes out for a Forestville ball.
Northeast with a full press on here at the moment, so looking to take charge early.
The striker just sitting on the 25 as well, so not really as high as we've seen.
Yep.
In the past, but a good interception, a good trap, and she just looks to move in field as Taylor Stoll just gives that first circle entry. Unfortunately, nothing could come of it, and Forestville managed to work away and will have the ball as it goes out of play. As per usual on a Friday night, pull me up on any time I say free kick. I apologise for that. It's my fault for living in England until 2007. It's kind of ingrained, so feel free to pull me up on it.
Not a lot on for Ferguson on the left here. Northeast defending very well, playing in front, looking to intercept and swing the ball from the ball side over to the help side.
So again, we're quite compact. These are two teams with the records. Even though there's a couple of places between them on the ladder, they're not far off each other. There's only really one result that sets them apart. And again, we're seeing very compact, a lot of play between the 25-metre lines. As Stoll just looked for an outlet pass on the right-hand side to Rebecca Axford, one of the two Axfords who are playing tonight. Both defences again on top early, Craig.
Yeah. I think North East midfield has shown that they're certainly here to play tonight. They've made quite a few intercepts. Holly already having a good impact on the game thus far.
If we had a big enough blanket, and most times we could throw it over most of them.
Yeah, Holly's not the tallest player going around, she's Lisa McDonald out on the left-hand side. Beautiful through ball there.
So the first trap is all important as North East managed to get that another circle entry. They are in a dangerous position. Look to the centre. Goalkeeper manages to get a kicker on it. They were looking for a foot in there. Nothing doing from the umpire, and Forestville will move away with a 16-yard hit. So I actually played my first game on Monday night for a long time since I left high school. I had a run around with the Masters team on Monday night and managed to score one myself.
Knocked one in. Was it a fantastic goal?
No, it was just. I think I was still at the back post from the previous attack, and was just in the right place at the right time.
All good forwards need to be hanging on that far post.
There was absolutely no way that I was going to get through the whole night without mentioning the fact that I did score on my debut.
I'm sure it'll come up again.
No, that's it now. I promised myself I'd get it through once. As North East just go and retrieve that ball. Oh, we have multiple balls tonight.
So we've got North East here in their traditional setup with the back four. Bit of rotation through the midfield as well, which is nice to see from Ashley Thompson, the super coach.
Yeah, he's Ashley is his 7th year as a Premier League women's coach. He started playing in 1987 when we were young men.
Yes.
So he's got a lot of experience.
He has.
And he's also an SA Hockey board member, so we need to be nice
Best
to him.
behaviour.
Yeah. He's the one who signs our checks.
Nice bit of ball movement from North East. It's swinging the ball. Nice bit of ball speed around the back, which is always imperative.
What I have been noticing on the last over the last couple of weeks is North East just look to get that circle entry, and again, just to underline the point that I was about to make, the early goings of these games, the defensive work from the women's teams has been outstanding, really.
Yeah, I think that's one of the things about. I think probably one of the things that needs to also improve him in the women's game is the ability to score goals. It's probably a rarity that we find those genuine goal scorers. So certainly looking for some of those tonight.
Speaking myself as a goal scorer, I can completely agree with you. No, I promise that's the last one.
Very good.
Yes, well, if you are with us tonight, let us know where you're from. Let us know whether you're watching in Australia or anywhere around the world. St. Peter's Old College are looking for Steph Fisher. She played M1s last year. This is her debut PL Premier League season. She's 33 years old. She played for St. Peter's in the 2016 M1 winning team. So
there you go. She's got winning form.
She has. A nice promotion. I'm just going to have a look because we have all sorts of stats. She's let in 11 goals this year, something that I would think she would hope to improve as a goalkeeper.
Sure.
Goal difference is always important, especially when we get to the pointy end of the season.
Absolutely.
We have Jamie Barnish is cheering on Claudia Draper.
Jamie, there's a familiar name. Played quite a bit with the Adelaide Hotshots as well.
So that pass just going astray, but it's going to go back for a Forestville ball. So as per usual with these Friday nights where we have two teams that are so equally matched, it is like the start of a boxing match. They're just feeling each other out with some jabs and stuff and see who can land the first big punch.
Ooh.
which we were close to, and just unfortunately the trap wasn't there for that final ball.
Yeah, I'd like to see more from Forestville, that those intercepts into the midfield and getting the ball going very quickly forward. North East were a little bit slow to react on transition there.
So Tash Hammond wearing the number 1 for Forestville. She's a striker out of Port Lincoln. She's been in the competition for 2 years. She's former state swimmer, so obviously we'll have a fairly good engine under the hood. She'll be able to run around all night, you would imagine.
Absolutely. I did note we had also a trapeze artist on the list somewhere.
Well, that's impressive. Forestville again will look for another circle entry. Unfortunately, it's just come off Forestville player's foot, and North East will manage to just relieve the pressure again.
North East looking to swing the ball here. Well, good work from Lisa. She can get this one away.
Good pressure from Hammond up top. And there is a free there. She was a little bit boisterous in the tackle. I wouldn't go as far as to say it was a Cheney just yet, but she was a little bit boisterous in there.
Didn't take the body, yeah.
As the missed trap just goes out, and North East can really start to put pressure on that Forestville circle. Again, good defence on the edge of that 16, at the edge of that circle, preventing the circle entries, but good stick work from North East as Evans makes it in there, just pushes across the face of goal, but unfortunately nobody could get a stick on it, and it couldn't find a foot while it was in there, so North East will just come back to that 25, start again, but an excellent interception from Forestville, and again, just a little bit too boisterous for our in player Charmaine Collett. As again, Forestville just managed to shut the door and prevent them coming into that circle.
Oh.
And again, they got a little bit of
feisty, yeah.
Got a little bit feisty. So Marilyn Larson has contacted us. Solveig, who is 6 years old, is watching and looking forward to her first ever game of hockey on Sunday. So that's winning with the age of people who are watching us. We have a 6-year-old looking with us, which is lovely to have us. Well, wonderful to have you with us. Again, we are just 10 minutes into this, and neither side really has had what you would suggest is a clear-cut chance at goal.
No, it's certainly North East have had the lion's share of the possession, but probably just missing that final pass. Just that last late forward movement lacking from North East. Here we go with another foray into attack.
And again, just that interception of that final ball as Hammond starts to come away with it, but
Kendra also starting to get a hold of the hockey ball. She's the one that player to watch for the Zulus, along with Holly Evans, looking to control the match.
She could have sold a sweeper a little bit short, but she manages to get there first. But that one is short, and we have a 2-on-1.
Well done.
Good circle entry. It's all about the control and whether she can beat the keeper. Good keeping work. She came out, made herself big, managed to get her foot onto that. So first time really that Steph Fisher, and we have our first short corner of the night. Yeah. Just getting a stick onto that, unfortunately. So we will have our first short corner of the night to North East Districts. But the first time that Steph Fisher really has been called on to do anything, and she passed the test.
She did indeed. Yeah, nice little flick out with the backhand. But nice little steal from Cheryl and Shorty Cass there with the Zulettes. She'll be a dangerous one looking up forward as well for the Zulettes.
So Shorty is her nickname?
Shorty is a nickname, and that's mainly due to height, I would assume.
I was going to say, is she an incredibly tall individual?
As she just flashes past the screen there. She's not a big individual, but she's very talented.
So it looks like she's going to be our injector. Kendra Sylvanderin.
Yeah.
The Hammonds watching from Port Lincoln saying go Tash. She's had a very good start to this game, and might I say she is wearing quite possibly the brightest shoes I have seen in a long time.
I'm a big fan of bright shoes, so I like her style.
Make you stand out.
Yeah.
So the trap just bobbles a little bit and doesn't give it time, but she goes to tomahawk,
go.
Deflected goal, and there is the first goal of the night with North East Districts.
Very well renowned for that low backhand, Holly Evans. It's a lovely finish.
Yeah, the trap just bobbled a little bit, but she kept her head, she kept her patience, just moved it onto that reverse stick side, and tomahawk just deflected off Fisher's foot, unfortunately, and into the goal. So first goal of the night, and we go North East Districts 1, Forestville 0.
It's the replay there. Very, very often the broken down corner, or the one that doesn't quite come out or isn't trapped well, seems to go in. So it can sometimes be a set play. I don't think that one was, but nice finish by Holly regardless.
A lovely finish, especially on that reverse stick side. And that the importance of short corners comes through, especially in tight games like this. So have good short corner routines in games where the goal scoring chances are being shut down by very good defences.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think a good penalty corner routine is paramount to winning matches. Certainly at this level, I'd like to see a few more drag flickers maybe in the women's game moving forward. And once again, very nice finish from Holly.
I would assume that that's something you just work on that, the technique of the drag flick.
Yeah, it's a very difficult technique, something you need to learn, I guess, from a young age. It can be very taxing on the body as well, so you might have to make sure that you have good technique or perfect technique. It's not easy to coach as well. It's quite a challenging skill, but certainly any team with a good drag flicker tends to go well throughout the season.
So Forestville get the long corner. They are just looking for a little bit of sustained pressure. If they can get some repeat inside circles, I think they'll start to really put some pressure on Kirsty McKellar, 31-year-old goalie for North East Districts. But again, wonderful interception, and I think she just wanted to relieve the pressure. Didn't look for an outlet pass, and just looked to get rid of it.
It's one of my pet hates as a coach. I think it's a lovely intercept. I reckon it's a really good opportunity to launch a counter-attack. You know, you really need to find a northeast stick there.
She could have done with just putting her head up a little bit and
absolutely
calming down rather than just hitting and hoping and just trying to get rid.
Yeah, 100%. You can string 3 or 4 passes together, and usually on the end of that chain you get a reasonable outcome. Ashley Thompson will be looking forward to making some changes up front to the formation and working on that final pass into the circle.
And certainly at this level, once you start getting up to the elite level, the thing that stands out about these players is the fact that how much time that they give themselves on the ball. Whereas, lower level players, they tend to panic and rush, and the ability of these players to give themselves time even when they're under great pressure it's an incredible skill.
Absolutely. I think, again, composure, especially on the trap, is paramount to getting good outcomes. I think that receiving is probably one of the biggest issues in the competition, and that's something that I think we can really work on, the composure and some of the technical skills inside the receiving is key to the match.
Because what doesn't come through when you watch this at home is just the speed that ball is actually travelling at you when you need to get it under control, and it's not a soft ball.
No, it's not. It is a hard ball. The girls have shin pads on. They're all wearing shin pads, so they can certainly still get their body behind it and make these receives.
Shin pads and gum shields are definite must-have accessories for this season. That's a good ball through there as Hammond just manages to make that touch, and they could get a breakaway here down that left-hand side with... Sorry, I didn't have a number for that young lady, but they had just managed... Sorry, Anna Christian,
yeah.
A 19-year-old out of Mount Barker. So again, the country is really showing that... Country South Australia really shows that they produce some good hockey players.
Absolutely. I think there's a huge stat, even nationwide, that a lot of our excellent players do come from the country. Certainly the Riverland has been plenty of players come through for SA in the Riverland, but all across the state, I think we've done very well with the talent from regional centres.
So North East get the free just outside the 25 and almost sold the midfielder short. And another free hit to Forestville, so they're starting to pile up in the middle.
They are. North East a little bit slow on transition to get that sweeper in place. A few balls going down the middle of the pitch without that sweeper in place, so they need to fix that up pretty quickly.
So Tash Hammond has certainly made herself available. She's certainly made herself available as that target, that up-front target, and you can see people trying to run off Hammond as the ball goes through, like you said, with that sweeper, just not getting there quickly enough.
Absolutely. She's causing a little bit of havoc at the moment with her movement off the ball, which is good to see. Great ball from Lisa McDonald there.
So a good ball just out to that left-hand side and a good trap, but a good tackle as well, and now they can launch a counter-attack. Unfortunately, after all the good words for Hammond, she just dropped her head a little bit and turned her back on it. So wasn't able to get there. Umpire keeps the whistle in the pocket as they can start to move. As Hammond will just beat that one-on-one, as numbers are equal, but they'll certainly look to get dangerous, get to that byline and look for that ball in.
Hammond again with a low backhand. We might have foot there, or are we going to...
Just a long corner, obviously decided it came off stick. which is still an opportunity for Forestville. They're getting short periods of pressure, short periods of sustained pressure. They've got to make that count now, otherwise their coach Anthony Tolhurst will start to feel a little bit frustrated by it.
Yeah, absolutely. I think North East have applied a full press and pressed very well. Forestville have found it very hard to get out. So some good coaching from Ashley, and certainly Holly's direction out in the field. You can hear her out there along with Lisa McDonald, really making sure that the Zulus have a lift. Holly coming back onto the field now.
So the interchanges as well, I think the conditions for hockey tonight, I think, are absolutely perfect. It's not too cold. We are getting into the winter months of Adelaide, but after you lived in the north of England, the winters in Adelaide aren't as bad as they were. But again, it is a good press from Forestville. It seems quite difficult for North East to get out, but they have managed to break out and look again for that circle entry as Holly Evans just starts to work inside. Look for an out left to the left-hand side, and there was nobody there, unfortunately.
Just missed that pass to Kendra. It's very important. I think we've had a few plays through the midfield, and they're just an inability to finish that off with a good pass. Really concentrate on that last skill.
Find that is something that we talk about a lot week in, week out, is that final ball. That killer ball is the one that teams are struggling with just to finish off. And we're halfway through the season now. We're halfway through our PL Fridays. We have 5 left after this one. So you would expect that things have settled in. You can't blame early season rustiness.
Absolutely. I think that's one of the things that you mentioned earlier, just that level of composure that you see in the better players to be able to finish those plays off. It's really what sets the girls apart. It's something certainly as coaches that we look for, that last play, particularly from our midfielders, to be able to eliminate with a pass or skill.
So about 15 minutes to go in this first half, and the score is still North East 1, Forestville 0. As North East will start to look again to build an attack, there is an outlet on that left-hand side, which she's found. She'll look for that circle entry. It's just looped up, and a long corner to North East. Well, we are certainly starting to see Kendra Selvenderen starting to get a stick on the ball and start to pull the strings in that midfield and find her outlet passes.
Yeah, absolutely. I think Forestville want to really make sure they get a hold of Kendra pretty early. Otherwise, the game will go by them pretty quickly if they don't get a hold of her at the moment.
So Kay Mao has joined us. She is unable to make it to the game, but she's watching it from Mount Crawford. So there'll be some cold nights up there, I think. Absolutely.
Sitting by the fire, no doubt.
Rugging up properly and get yourself a nice cup of hot cocoa. North East just come all the way back to the sweeper to just try and rebuild there, and it was nearly intercepted. But Taylor Stoll just manages to get there. Looks for that circle entry. And they will get a long corner out of it.
I'd love to see that ball fed into the circle a little bit more rather than the slap. It's a bit more, it's very obvious to the defence when that ball's about to come in, so I'd love to see the ball fed pass in there a little bit more than it is at the moment from North East.
So Selvendren's there, good stick skill. She's managed to keep hold of that as Evans. And umpire has found a free hit there, and Forestville can come away with it. Oh, tried with the overhead flick, couldn't quite get there. Decent intersection, another whistle, but obviously playing advantage for that high stick.
Yeah, I think just a bad miss there. I think that that ball is actually on. I like to see the girls trying some of these skills as well. It's actually pleasing to see. Didn't quite have the technical there, but I think, as I say, it's good to see the girls trying those skills, and certainly the ball was on.
If you have somebody who has a good overhead flick, somebody who can flick it, half the length of the field or even over 2 lines, then it cuts out a lot of that congested midfield and makes life a little bit easier for your strikers.
Absolutely, you can see North East with the full press on here. If you can throw I've got someone that can throw the ball over 2 lines.
Sorry to interrupt, but there was just a chance for a circle entry, and they did have Rebecca Axford, who looked dangerous and free in the middle, and just couldn't get that ball into the middle. So North East will start again from the sideline. Okay, and she has possibly just sold her short. These are dangerous passes. They're certainly passes that Ashley Thompson will be sitting on the edge of the seat as they let them go.
Tale Soul also starting to assert herself on the match.
Forestville again just managed to relieve that danger, and I think that is just we need a rest, let's get rid of it and restart again from the defending that 16-yard hit.
Yeah, Ferguson's done well in the Forestville defence at this stage. She's been the rock back there. But again, I think I'd like to see that element of composure on the end of that to launch a counter-attack, particularly with the dangerous forwards that Forestville have.
What we're seeing as well is we're starting to see a spine develop to this northeast side. We've got Kendra Salvender in that midfield, playing through the middle of that midfield, and Taylor Stoll working at the back, and those two are just starting to work together now and really take control of the midfield. And
yeah, I think that's spot on. The young players, Northeast, I think there's a bright future here. If your Lisa McDonalds, those types can hang on for a few more years, there's certainly some exciting matches or exciting things ahead for Northeast Hockey Club.
So we are starting to see Rebecca Ashford really start to move up and play behind the defensive line now. So not going as high as we've seen standing in the circle, but she's certainly trying to stretch that defensive line backwards now. And Northeast are definitely starting to try and stretch out that midfield.
Yep.
We have Margaret O'Brien watching in Nuriutpa, not Nuriupta. I've got a lot better at saying Nuriutpa in the last couple of years. She's supporting Tyler Burgess, number 13. For Forestville, 17-year-old from Tanunda.
Beautiful part of the world, the Barossa Valley.
It is a wonderful part of the world. Again, just looking for that final ball and just couldn't quite get there. As Hammond just turns over possession and Salvandaran can start to work. Good 3D skills as she starts to go there, and she is awarded the free hit for her work. So Kendra Salvendran, she comes from Singapore. She was here from under 13 level. She's best and fairest in 2014 for the league, and she's been in the competition for 10 years. As Hammond can start to come away, there is an option, and unfortunately she just couldn't find that pass. It was a tired-looking pass with 10 minutes to go in the half. Umpires keep the whistle away.
Well, I think I'm happy
deflected
with that.
trap.
Good umpiring from Charmaine there.
And there is one. And Northeast get their whistle in the end, not for the first one they wanted. Tanunda represents. I think Tanunda always looks fabulous when they have the tour down under here and you see the aerial shots of the cyclists going through the Barossa Valley. It is a beautiful part of the world.
Absolutely something not to be missed, a tour down under. It's a wonderful event.
So Josie Hammond is watching from Cummins, and she is watching Tash Hammond. Tash Hammond has a little bit of a following on Facebook tonight. She's obviously shared it before she went out there tonight.
Smart social media work there.
Very savvy social media work. Hockey SA, if you're listening, maybe sign her up as a social media representative. She's obviously all over it. But if you are watching and you want to make sure that other people in the world get to see this wonderful hockey from this wonderful venue, it's an Olympic standard venue, just press that share button for us and make sure that people can do it. I'm going to do it right now, he says. So make sure you share, and as I say that, we go into another short corner. So this is Forestville's chance to really get back on terms with just under 10 minutes to go. Certainly Anthony Tolhurst will be hoping that they can get a short corner routine that's going to bring them back on level terms.
Absolutely, Dave. I think, as you mentioned, a short corner routine that's high quality is something I haven't had a lot of the possession, but these are these opportunities that once you get them, if you have a good set piece play, then you're likely to score.
So this is their first one. Alice Lathian will be the injector. Single battery, but they haven't gone there. They've gone to Hammond, who's gone the hit. Good goalkeeping, but it's gone back to her. There was a stick in there. As Hammond works on that, she's got a long corner out of it. Good goalkeeping. You could see that she identified early that it was a hit. Laid down. We have another circle entry. She's managed to get a kick away, but unfortunately it's got through. A little bit dangerous there. Just turning it into hurling for a moment, just swinging that stick at head height.
Love seeing that as a forward. Little opportunity there, and she had a crack. I think, it's not a... You got to be opportunistic there, and I think the ball's there to be hit. So
certainly, you would want that to be. You'd want them to take that opportunity, and again, just almost intercepted, but Salvenderen can start to look out, and that one is intercepted, and Forestville can start to come back.
There's a bit of a momentum shift starting to happen now.
Forestville certainly have started to just put their foot on the gas a little bit over the last 5 minutes and really starting to keep that pressure on the Northeast girls. So, as we said, the under-18s, I think, are still in Tasmania. I don't think they get back until Sunday. So the under-18s are still away, and it obviously will have had a little bit of an effect on most of the Premier League teams, because the better players within the state have gone away. So there'll be a lot of girls who've been brought up to play on this stage, which will be a great experience for them.
Absolutely. I think it's been a fantastic initiative, this Friday night hockey by Hockey SA. It's been really great, and personally, even just to tune in and watch some good hockey on a Friday evening. It's been fantastic.
You will have been disappointed. You told me that you picked up a slight calf strain last week, so you'll be quite disappointed you didn't manage to get the TV minutes in last week.
That's fine. I think I'm getting a bit old and slow these days, so I'll leave it up to the other boys. Looking forward to our clash tomorrow against
And there is that overhead flick that we talked about. Good control, good 3D control. Managed to bring it under there. She had a runner out on that right-hand side. She just couldn't find it, and Northeast managed again just to slow things down and come away. Good disguise on that hit, managing to just go down the line and appeal from the Northeast player, and she got her wish. Young Sharon Cass, the 30-year-old captain of Northeast, just showing her experience.
Yes, absolutely. I did like to see that overhead again. I like that she tried it again. It was on, as you can see, straight over the top of two lines, and a really dangerous opportunity. I think Northeast again, throwing balls, probably contested balls into the midfield, not ideal. Like in Forestville, a bit narrow. Probably want to play around the outsides before you go back inside there.
So Andrew Milner said there's 4 to 5 Barossa players out there. So the Barossa obviously not just fertile soil for red wine, it's obviously fertile soil for hockey players.
For athletes, yes.
This Northeast, it's just starting to open up as we get into the dying embers of this first half. It's just starting to open up that midfield now, and it's going back and forward a bit more than we saw in the opening minutes.
Yeah, I'd like to see a good combination between Sherilyn Cass and Holly Evans, but if they could just stay open rather than closing themselves off a little bit, a bit more speed for the midfield.
Good interception. There was some appealing for back of the stick there, but I mean, whether you have the free hit a yard in from where you get that sideline hit didn't seem to make much difference either way.
Right, possibly a little bit too fussy there. But I would like to see the stick probably turned over a little bit more there, so she does get it on the flat. Much more chance of...
It's just a missed trap there from Taylor Stahl. She's tried to get in there. There is the hit. And unfortunately just wide. I thought that it looked from our position that it sneaked through, but it didn't. So 16-yard hit to Northeast, but again, just one lapse in concentration. When you're playing at this level, just a lapse in concentration for that 1 second means that there's a goal-scoring opportunity for Forestville.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, as I said, the momentum has shifted, and Forestville have kept that momentum. We get another intercept.
There is another intercept there.
Really got away with that. Essential skills again for the girls, and be able to make those receives and move forward with the ball.
So a good push through from Stahl. Again, it's a little bit crowded in that area, and Forestville managed to come away with it. Unfortunately, just couldn't find a stick with that pass. And Forestville will look to it as we move into red time for both the coaches, and this is certainly a position when the concentration needs to be good. A wonderful trap from mid-air from Salvenderen. Unfortunately, she just lost control of it on the way through, and Forestville will manage to come away with it.
Noticed a change in structure from Northeast. They're now going to a back three, so Ashley trying to get some things moving, which I think is probably a smart move at this moment.
Gone with a self-pass and just looks to switch it over to that right-hand side to Claudia Draper, the Forestville captain. Oh, I thought she nearly got away with that, but
Yeah, it's 2 in a row.
Eagle Eye Charmaine Collette over on that other side.
She's a very good umpire, Shah. She doesn't miss too much. Very experienced player in her own right, and a very good umpire.
I think she was grand final umpire last year, showing that her experience and how well respected she is.
Yes.
But again, Forestville just managed to turn it over. Just picked up that free kick hit. I actually stopped myself then and then said it.
You caught yourself.
I caught myself. Overthought that one. Rookie error.
Lovely play by Sherilyn
It is,
Cass
and we have gone 2-on-2, and Axford, if she can make that run, just dragged the defender across. Unfortunately, they couldn't get anything out of it, but they did manage to manufacture a free hit. Probably went a little bit too quickly for Sherilyn Cass's liking.
I think you either want to play quickly there or nothing was on, so you want to take your time and set up the structure, and your attacking 25 is very important there.
It's a long time to go. There's still a half a hockey to go.
Yeah.
So. Oh, that's unlucky. That's just a little interchange of passing over on that left-hand side. Just unfortunately, the last one just got away from her, unable to trap it, and just goes out onto that far side.
Love to see Forestville just open their body up a little bit more and play to the help side where the space is. Maybe just getting a little bit bogged down and playing in shorter spaces.
And again, that's just that composure, isn't it?
Yeah.
Has North East managed to get the circle entry? Umpires just talking to each other. I'm not sure whether they're mic'd up tonight. The umpires have been mic'd up over the last couple of weeks, especially on a Friday night, so they can converse with each other quite easily. Not sure whether they are tonight. I can't quite see.
It's also a great initiative, especially with a very experienced umpire like Charmaine. I think that's really important to develop our umpires in this state.
Ball just loops over, and the umpire says, no, that's dangerous, and Forestville will get to rebuild. Been a change in that striker position as Tyler Burgess is up there. She's another Tanunda player. So they were looking for the corner. Good reverse stick work, nice little reverse pass, but again intercepted. Both defences playing very, very well in that midfield. Forestville less than a minute, but might be able to just launch one more attack. Unfortunately, just couldn't get that through. They're screaming for an overhead flick there. Just couldn't quite get there. There's Selvendron with a lovely touch, and there is room on that right-hand side for Kristen Goodchild. Gets that circle entry. The ball's bobbling around in there. They're going to hope for it. Yes, and there it's coming. I could see the umpire playing the advantage for it. So we will have a short corner after the siren. This will be the last action of this first half, as we keep an eye on it. And again, Selvendron just with that little touch, able to ignite that attack and get that circle entry, which is proving so dangerous.
Absolutely. I think that's the difference between a good hockey player. I think you can see she put that ball right out in front, didn't have to break stride. A wonderful delivery from Selvendron.
Passing into space rather than stick to stick.
Absolutely.
So Selvendron will be the injector for this. Looks like they've got a double battery, with Forestville going with a 3-1 defensive formation. It's a good injection. Both players going for the trap, got themselves a little bit confused. Just went with that slap hit.
It's well defended.
And cleared, and there is half-time. So we are, right here we are, North East Hockey Club 1, Forestville Panthers 0. It's been an interesting first half. We will look forward to the second half. We will be right back with you just after this short break.
Have become brothers.
You know, it's what winter's about, is going out and putting on your club colours and having fun with, I guess, your winter friends.
They took me on when I came over new to Adelaide. Didn't know many people, so yeah, to me they've become more like a family than anything.
It means a lot actually, it's a lot of good fun. They're a great family and just, you definitely know when the season's over and you miss them. I travel from York Peninsula every training and on weekends to play. It takes 2 hours to get here, so back and forth. And I keep coming because I love it. I love playing for the club, I love the team.
Forestville is my escape from the stressful things in life, and I also get to have fun at the same time with heaps of mates too.
The Zulus are my family, my best friends, and lining up beside them every week means the world to me.
So what Forestville does well as a club is that they have the highest participation in hook into hockey in South Australia, and we run holiday programs, so our Premier League men and women take those holiday programs for the juniors.
Foster our juniors, they come up through the ranks, they get opportunities to play, umpire, coach, and they develop into fantastic role models and human beings as well as hockey players.
A lot of our Premier League boys and our senior players actually coach in our junior teams and through the state as well. I think that's why we've got the best juniors coming through, and that's why we've got success at the Secret Hockey Club.
A lot of volunteering with SAPSARs and zone champs and all that.
So now that we've brought back juniors, we've got a number of teams. It's really re-energised the club and brought the club back to a happy place to be around.
It's like good to see other cultures out as well, and like really include them in activities and trainings, and always just asking them to come out and play, because that's what we're all about.
It's not necessarily all about winning, it's about participation and enjoyment, and making sure that kids come through and keep playing hockey. Play for Adelaide Uni, it means everything.
I think in terms of the club, we support each other really well. We always seem to have like the biggest crowd out on game day, and they're really vocal, which is a big benefit as a player. And I think it sort of gives us a homegrown advantage when everyone comes out and gets around us.
I've been at Grange since I was 3 years old, and to be honest, we're not going anywhere.
So I've been part of the Premier League women's team for 6 years now, and I've been fortunate enough to be a part of the past 5 grand final premiership wins, which was all in a row.
I think we've been in the grand final about 7 times as well. Haven't won them all, unfortunately, but yeah, to get there so many times has been fairly impressive in its own right.
I think at Port we drive such a tough culture and a resilient culture, which has allowed us to just work hard and just push through any adversity or any challenges that came towards us.
Pretty positive this year. I think we're going to do quite well. We've got a new sort of mindset, new belief system, so I think the girls have got it this year.
Welcome back. We are halfway through this first match of the evening. Ladies first tonight. North East District's 1-up against the Forestville Panthers. Just to remind you, there is no PL Friday next week. The next one will be on the 26th of May, with Burnside Bulldogs making their PL Friday night debut against the Woodville Packers, who we've seen already. Don't be too upset though, because on the 14th of May there will be live streaming of the State Country Championships. Excuse me while I had to read from my notes. It's been a wonderful first half of hockey. The only real clear-cut chance was the short corner that North East had, and they managed to put it away. Forestville not able to reply with their short corner, unfortunately.
Yeah, unfortunately. I think, as I said during the call, I think North East have had the lion's share of possession. Forestville seem to turn that around the last 10 minutes or so. So it'll be Ashley will be hoping to arrest that moving forward in this second half.
Certainly, if you were the coach of Forestville, you wouldn't be too downhearted with your players. You wouldn't be throwing hair dryers around the changing room at this point, would you?
No, I don't think so. I think the completion of the last pass, I think for both teams, but in particular Forestville, that's going to be an issue for them moving forward if they can't complete that last pass. We've spoken about that composure for the midfield, just to deliver without changing footwork and feed the ball in there, I think will be really important for the Forestville.
Now, obviously you yourself, you will have played on stages higher than this, but like this in your career. Would the players take into account the fact that they're live, they're being watched live by, on occasion over 1,000 people, and
yep.
Does that come into their thinking? Do you think that's where some of the mistakes come through?
Yeah, I think it would certainly build part of the excitement of playing on Friday nights, being live. I think that would certainly have an impact. Certainly talking to the Woodville boys, that was part of their thinking as well. But yeah, it certainly would have an effect on their play, I would think.
Okay, it's been an absolute fantastic first half, and as the players come out, we're going to take our seats, and we will bring you the second half. So as we see North East just move out onto the field, as far as players for North East in that first half, Kendra Selvenderen and Taylor Stoll, both of them really started to rise to the top. From the Forestville side, Tash Hammond really was being a little bit of a thorn in the side as the striker for Forestville. And Steph Fisher, when called upon, did some good work.
Yeah,
just unfortunately deflected the short corner goal in. But
Jess Martin-Brown also with some good work. I think I like the way she goes about her hockey as well. She's a good, certainly an asset for Forestville.
So just some stuff that came through from my QI elf, that is Katrina at Hockey SA. Andrew Milne had commented, apart from in that first half. He was the 2016 Hockey SA Coach of the Year. He coaches up in the Barossa and has been nominated as the state under-13 coach again. And Shah as well, who we were talking about and how well she was doing. She was awarded the Evelyn Tazewell Outstanding Umpire Service to Women's Hockey Award last year. So we have award winners all over the place. And we can confirm as well that yes, the umpires are mic'd up tonight. And you have a personal hello from Michael Bosley, who said, "Go Craig, victory."
Fantastic. Hello, Michael. He's probably sitting by the fire preparing for the match tomorrow against Port Adelaide. He's one of our...
Yes, so you have quite a big local derby over the weekend.
Looking forward to that. 2 o'clock tomorrow against Port Adelaide, my old club.
There's North East just with that nice little reverse pass for Holly Evans, just to try to make that circle entry. But again, Forestville just put up the shutters, but Holly Evans manages to just work her way into the middle, needs the finish. It's
unfortunately hit Cass on the way into the goal. Sure he'd be a bit disappointed with that.
North East managing to just shut that attack down, but Evans certainly looked dangerous as she made that circle entry.
Yeah, she's one of the ones I like around there. She's a very good finisher. And we played for the Suns, we had her up front a lot, and she's certainly a goal scorer. She can hit the ball hard on both sides of her body, which is what you want, certainly.
She's the top end of that North East spine of Stoll, Sylvenderin and Evans.
Yeah, certainly Holly's had experience playing with the Hockeyroos as well, so she should be standing out here tonight. Oh, lovely steal from Sherilyn.
Unfortunately, she just caught a toe on the way through. So Forestville, you know, for Anthony Tolhurst, this is certainly doable, and he has a very, very young side, and I think we're noticing that. We're certainly calling the names of the North East players and those who are getting the stick on the ball and controlling it. We're certainly calling them a lot more, but Forestville in patches have looked very, very good and very, very dangerous, and see whether they can nick one in this second half.
Yep.
And 2017 so far, they beat Grange 2-1, and then have had losses to Port Adelaide, Burnside and Adelaide Uni, so they started off quite well. As far as North East go, they had a bye and then were beaten quite heavily by Seacliff, and then victories over Grange and Woodville, and again then played Seacliff and went down again. So Seacliff obviously looking strong this year. As they just move out on that right hand side, and literally it was a matter of inches just too far for Harkness, who just couldn't trap it, and it's gone out.
Yeah, Jess Martin-Brown again. I think if the Forestville are going to turn this game around, she's a real key asset for them, to see her get a hold of the ball a bit more.
So Jess Martin-Brown, midfielder out of Melbourne. She's been in the competition for 7 years. She has a degree in marine biology and is a dive master.
There you go.
So there's wonderful marine life around South Australia.
There is indeed.
Some of it's hungry most of the time.
Port Lincoln in particular, I think there's some lovely tuna fishing out there. Lovely part of the world as well, along with the Barossa Valley.
Tyson Schubert, I'm about to throw you on under the bus. He says he should be warming up rather than commenting on this, but we are good to have you. It was an excellent interception there, just on the edge of the circle. Just couldn't keep it in though. I am going to throw you under the bus, Tyson. You should be warming up. Get warming up, my friend.
It's a famous South Australian name, that one too, Schubert. His cousin Grant Schubert, Olympic gold medalist. Tyson, a very good player in his own right.
So we look forward to seeing him tonight. Good cross the front ball, unfortunately, just behind everybody. Nobody could get a stick on it.
A bit more spacing from North East in that attacking circle. It's a bit of a vortex, that goal at the moment. Look to see stretch that circle out a little bit more.
Good control out of the air. She needs to just find a North East player, which she did by way of a Forestville stick. Good skills as she makes her way through, and our umpire over that far side finds a free hit, and they can rebuild from just outside the circle. So they look to move down that right hand side. Circle is very crowded. Fortunately, couldn't keep it in. So North East again, we are seeing quite a sustained bit of pressure. Now.
Yeah, sustained attacking pressure, something that all teams would want to make sure that they deliver. Here's Holly again on the outside, just closing off a little bit again, but she comes through.
So he had an arm up for advantage, but nothing more than a free hit outside the circle. But again, with North East have been down here a fair amount of time now. Ashley Thompson will hope that they come away with something from it. Lovely turn, ball flicks up, short corner. So we have another one. So they are 50% on short corners at the moment.
I'd like to see the push out come out a little bit harder from Kendra if she's on the pitch. Give the person at the top a little bit more time on the ball.
That injection speed really is it's the first cog in the engine. If you don't get that speed out there, and it gives the runner's chance to get down that barrel and really put pressure on the trapper, which we've seen a couple of times that the trapper's been under pressure.
I think first and foremost, even at an international level, it's something that we would track. Speed and accuracy, it really sets up the penalty corner, particularly for drag flickers to be able to deliver their skill.
And that's not bad. There's a better trap. He's gone back to that back post, just couldn't get away with it. There was a stick noise in there, but the umpire keeps a whistle in a pocket. But again, North East will be able to rebuild from just outside that 25.
I'd love to see her stay on that ball just from the rebound and feed it out instead of come off the ball and hit it. Just play it into space.
Was there, probably would have put her under less pressure if she'd gone first time, but again, that pass just behind. And Forestville can come out. There was a bit of an agricultural tackle there, a little bit of body to body. And Forestville can come away with it.
You can see that connection with Cass and Evans, very, very close friends for a long, long time. You can see the connection out on the pitch as well, and where they play off each other.
Savendra just with that interception and starts to look, a good little reversal of the field there, just to give herself some more time and space. She's done it again now. She's got her head up and is looking for an outlet pass as they come into the midfield for McDonald. Just didn't get it under control first time and has put herself under a little bit of pressure, but Selvenderen just manages brilliantly to work her way through. She's gone all the way. She must finish. Good save.
Lovely hands from Kendra breaking through there. I'd like to see Forest maybe staying in the contest a little bit more than throwing their stick at it. But some wonderful play from Selvenderen.
So Paul Blenkeron, glad that we can make you happy. If you stay tuned, you'll see him again at the start of the next game and probably half time in that one. It's a good outlet pass. Unfortunately, that's just, you could see what she was thinking, young Burgess. She was just looking to push that on into the midfield and really start that, but just sold her short a little bit. She's gone down that line with that reverse stick. Looking for that circle entry, which she almost had, but again, good defence from Forestville.
Laura Kingsmill there. Timely dispossession. All done, staying in the contest. Little jab tackle, which is important in those open play tackling situations.
Something unique to hockey as well, I think, is that because you can only score from inside that circle, the pressure and the adrenaline raises as they get to that circle area. You know it's coming. So as a defender, getting that tackle in either just as they enter the circle or before they get there is imperative, really.
Absolutely, and I think that's something for the game in what you see the ball going to attack here.
Wonderful disguise on that ball. It looked shaped as if she was going out to the right and just managed to pull that reverse. As Selvenderen works to the baseline, manages to keep hold of it. It's still bouncing around in there. It's not going to come out just yet. It's still in front of there, a little bit of a mess in front. But they've managed to keep going. Oh, that's caught her right on in the hip area. With that tomahawk from Holly Evans. She stood her ground. She was strong. She took one for the team.
Absolutely. And the line of fire. Very important. Some courage from the defence there. I think you're right about that anxiety. Certainly for the forwards in particular around the circle when it's time to score. It's good players to be nice and calm and complete the skill.
Good tackle there. Just manages to put a stick away. Doesn't get the free hit, and the free hit goes to Forestville, but it gives the defence chance to slow it down and reset up for the next one. Another good interception from Sylvendrin. Certainly starting to call her name more as the second half goes on.
Yeah, absolutely. A bit similar to the first half. Took her a while to get going, but now she's had lots of the play. I think it's very important that I think Jess Martin Brown's on her at the moment, that she really starts to play in front and make some intercepts or stay in the contest with her.
So I've been pulled up for free kick. I apologise for saying it. I will work back on it. Just a missed trap. Oh, if that was meant, that was a fantastic ball. I'll give her the benefit of the doubt.
A bit fortuitous there, I would have thought.
It worked very, very well. North East just seem to have picked up the tempo in this second half. That's almost a wonderful inside ball from Beck Axford, who's really starting to work hard up front as well, with Evans and Beck Axford both working hard up at that top as they get to the byline again. Just turned inside, but just couldn't get that final ball.
Lovely bit of sweeping to get to the contest, but again, just that blind hitting out of defence. Something it's a real bugbear for mine in the girls' game. Really just need to feed your midfield and get them away.
Look for those outlet passes. Try and find an out passes. Sylvendrin again manages. Her close control has been absolutely fantastic. Beck Axford just had a go at goal, but we managed to get a stick in the way. We'll go with a long corner. Certainly the tempo in this game has picked up in the last 5-10 minutes of this game. North East really starting to really put the foot on the throat, really, and try and finish this off before too much longer. Another circle entry.
The longer the game goes on without North East scoring, it's going to be a big issue if they can't put this one away.
Stewart just working now that right-hand side. If you can hear a siren in the background, it's because the under-18s are playing away to our right. The under-18s competition has started tonight on pitch 2 here at the State Hockey Centre, so we are wall-to-wall hockey here tonight. Good tomahawk just across the face of goal. Steph Fisher just saw it safely go past, with Forest Hills, North East Hockey Club and Port Adelaide and Adelaide Blue are all over there at the under-18s competition, so Hockey SA certainly earning their money tonight. So as we watch the present elite hockey players in South Australia in front of us tonight, the future elite players are away to our right-hand side, and that is something that Hockey SA does very well. I think their grassroots development is fantastic.
Yeah, I agree. I think they've put some really very hard work in the grassroots level, and some big improvements. To see that taking effect over the next few years in the national championships at a young age.
She's like a little hot potato in that middle at the moment, but Stoll just managed to slow things down enough and get the composure back, and they can restart. That's unfortunate that she didn't get the free hit there. She's copped one in the stomach.
It was a good bit of pressing. I like she jumped out to press blind, maybe just a little bit late to go, but if she had that still there, they're out and away.
It's certainly a sport for the brave, is hockey. You've got to put your body where angels fear to tread.
Absolutely, it's be very courageous to play the game the way it should be played.
Just trying to touch it around that corner, but again, Sally Eagle just managing to slow things down. She's been a very calm influence down at the back there. Just with the south pass, they seem quite comfortable and confident just going backwards to start forwards. That's a nice little bit of stick work, but another free hit outside the circle.
She's had a good few minutes, and handling the ball very well there. Nice little bit of skill. Once again, North East getting this ball out on the fringes of the circle. They need to look to work with each other and move a little bit later, I think. Maybe moving a little bit too early towards the goal for the finish.
Does feel a little bit static in that circle when they get into dangerous positions. There's nobody seems to be making any darting runs. And
yeah, I think that's, you want to get to the dangerous positions quite late. You get there too early and those options are shut off. It's hard to score.
So there's that good overhead flick, and that is into space if we can get there, which he has managed to. It's Christian who's just going to work down that right-hand side and manages to get a free hit. But there's the beauty of that overhead flick, is that it just takes out any sticks that are hanging around on the ground.
I'm absolutely loving that skill. I think Forestville can look to do that a little bit more from the pockets. You can see they get into dangerous positions here.
Just dragged back, but Salvenderin again, managing with her intercept. Now there is a long ball on. She's just couldn't quite find that, as Good Child was working hard in that high striker position. The overhead flick is as we were talking about the drag flick, the overhead flick is also a skill that will require a lot of practice.
Yeah, it is. Certainly not as much as the drag flick. It's not as taxing on the body, but you know, there is some physics and mechanics involved. It's an important skill to keep coaching.
So we see the Northeast boys just run away to do their warm-up. None of them are on their mobile phone and commenting, so as Salvenderin starts to push forward again. Oh, that's unfortunate. She's just gone with the Brody on that one, and ball sneaks through. Again, just that missed trap, and Northeast will manage to go again with Stewart on that right-hand side, who as well has really started to come into this game in the last 5 minutes. It's a good interception, and unfortunately that interception goes to Salvenderin. Unfortunately, when you're under pressure, the ball just doesn't seem to bounce your way, does it?
Still looking just, love to see Northeast probably getting a bit narrow there, looking to attack the fringes a little bit more, play on the outside and stay open, and look to get the ball back into the middle.
And there is that overhead flick. Unfortunately, that's just an overhead flick for the sake of an overhead flick. It didn't seem to be directed at anybody, and good interception. And then they can start to break now if they get their head up, and Christian can move out to this right-hand side, just inches away from being able to trap that and really launch a Forestville attack.
Yeah, Forestville looking dangerous with those overheads. I think it'd be, as you said, maybe looking for the landing zones a little bit more. Want to get them away from the Northeast defenders. But it's certainly a good avenue for them to launch attacks.
You can see that Forestville obviously have worked on getting themselves into positions where they can make interceptions. They're trying very hard, and you know, but for that short corner, the teams have been very, very equal, really.
Yeah. As we saw at Forestville change the momentum about halfway through the first half. I think similar starting to happen now in the second half.
There's certainly, I mean, hockey is a game where the ebb and the flow of the game is, it turns on a sixpence, really.
It does, yeah. Ferguson's been very good for Forestville also in the back three.
Just went down that line. Unfortunately, Christian didn't manage to get it under control, but Christian certainly is starting to come into her own as well. The 19-year-old striker from Mount Barker. She's second year within the Premier League competition. She moved from Adelaide Hills in 2016. She's studying journalism, so we should sit her next to me at some point this year.
Yeah, invite her up, for sure. Well done, Holly.
It's a lovely turn from Evans. She can now get her head up and start to look. She can really attack inside that circle. And there is a play on. So Forestville can come away. Now this is the time that they need the composure.
Yeah, it's much better. You saw the feed out rather than the knock it out. Forestville
Just
got possession.
couldn't find that pass through to Hammond. But like you say, it was much better rather than just blazing away from the back there. They looked for that outlet pass and really started to launch an attack.
Much better from Kingsmill there it was. It's very well done.
But certainly the thing with hockey is, just to quote that famous Richmond and also the Seacliff song, the game isn't over until the final siren sounds.
That's right.
So we can certainly hope for an exciting finish to this game. I think Certainly Forestville now are really starting to feel that they need to up the tempo and really start to press.
Yeah, for sure. 15 minutes to go, so interesting to see if any, look out for any tactical changes from either coach. Maybe around this period that Forestville maybe look to play a little bit higher with one of their forwards.
We're starting to see Tyler Burgess really start to come into it as well, the 13 for Forestville. We're starting to call her name a bit more, and she's certainly getting into dangerous positions. It's excellent work and about eye level, but again, Salvendra just showing her experience and being in the right place at the right time and shutting down that Forestville attack. But they can go again. They just come all the way to the back. There is still around 15 minutes to play. There's a touch just outside the circle, so it will go for a long corner. But with just under 15 minutes to go, there's certainly time. There's no panic just yet.
No, I think Forestville have arrested momentum again. They similarly need to look at their just that last 25 structure. You can see the circle at the moment.
So Martin Brown she almost got herself into a position, and the free hit goes Northeast District's way. Certainly when she gets into that circle, every time there's a whistle, everyone will have a hold of their breath and look at the umpire and just have a look for the signal.
Yeah, Martin Brown's starting to get a lot of touches in the game. Kendra's off at the moment. I'm sure Ashley won't want her off for too much longer to get her back out on the pitch.
And Forestville as well will want to capitalise on this time. Where
absolutely.
That important cog in the Northeast District machine is off the field. Just a little bit of a high stick from Burgess. It's a wonderfully weighted pass at the back there from Eagle. She had a baby in 2015, so she's a new mum. Congratulations to Sally Eagle, 29-year-old halfback from Bury. Ooh, just missed, but a little bit of miscontrol from the keeper. Christian started to put a little bit of pressure on it. That was unwarranted, really. They've really managed, if they've got to get out of this, that's a good ball, but unfortunately couldn't control. Christian again just not unable to bring that under control, but they have managed to get that circle entry. It's still there, and we have a short corner. Just managed to find a foot there, and all of that, you have to say, comes from that missed back pass from Stoll, just putting the keeper under a little bit too much pressure.
Yeah, well done for Forestville pushing forward very quickly. I love to see that quick transition of winning the ball and just fed it to the forward ahead of the ball rather than coming off it. It's a really good play from Jess Martin Brown once again.
They certainly have come into this game in the last 5 minutes. As Northeast Districts go with the 3-1. Ball will be injected by Alice Latelian. So again, we'll have a look at the speed of this injection. That's a lovely injection, good. There's the hit. It's come off. It's gone for a long corner, so it's come off something. It almost sounded like it came off the helmet of the goalkeeper. Once she identified that it was a hit, as for those of you who are watching who are new to hockey, when you hit, it must hit the board, so the goalkeeper can be quite confident in getting low and big. As there was a deflection there for another long corner.
She's onto it very early, certainly with the corners. I'd love to see maybe a set play, a different piece for Forestville to play around the keeper, maybe at the right post there's a bit of a hole.
But the injection speed was noticeably faster than what we've seen before tonight.
Yeah, you could absolutely see the time, and they had at the top of the circle. That's key.
So we have another circle entry. She's managed to get through. Good goalkeeping. It's still out there. It's still in front. It's a scramble, and there's the goal. So Forestville have drawn level, and it looks to me like Tash Hammond has managed to get on the score sheet as she runs back trying to work her team up. So we have set ourselves up for a barnstorming final 10 minutes as the interchanges fly in and out as we move very, very quickly in hockey. There's no rest for the wicked. Once the goal's scored, it's straight to the middle and off we go. But that's certainly Anthony Tolhurst will be pleased with that, and they can't switch off now.
Very happy. I just heard him call out, just be aware of Holly. So they're trying to shut her down and negate her play. Certainly from Northeast perspective, Kendra, Evans and Cass looking to assert themselves in this last 10 minutes of the match.
But again, we talk about this, so we talk about red times, and between the 5 minutes before the end of the half and the 5 minutes after you've scored or conceded a goal are red times. So Forestville now, rather than sitting back on their laurels, have to just gird their loins and go again.
Yeah, absolutely. It's quite incredible. The game can change from 1-1, as you can see the rain pouring down there.
The rain is just starting to come in, and we have another short corner. And as we talked about, they've conceded that short corner in the red time. I would suggest as well that within hockey, rain is probably an advantage. It's only going to speed that surface up and make things easier for the players.
I think the from Forestville's perspective, the change in momentum that they had, you go a goal up, I don't think you need to change anything, and unfortunately they went into defensive mode maybe a little bit there, and North East trying something interesting here, pushing out from the other side. See what the super coach has got up his sleeve.
So Sylvain back onto the injections. It looks like they're going to go short to that right-hand side, which they have, and she's gone early. She's just gone centre. Good save. She managed to get out there. And then they just clear that rubbish from in front of the keeper, something the North East didn't manage to do, and it was like a pinball in front of that keeper, and they managed to find something in there. So good defensive work. And a nice variation on the short corner.
It's good variation. Just needed to put that one in the corner, Lisa McDonald, if she could. She had a bit of time. Smart corner from North East.
So North East will just come back to Stahl, who will work again. Forestville's defensive shape does seem to put the pressure on North East to pick a pass out of it. They're not giving them, and just unfortunately it popped up, but they would have had a 3-on-2 if they managed to get that under control. So the Hammond fan club is now in full effect, and they're with their messages of support on Facebook. Forestville managed to come away, and again we're just looking to clear it, but Forestville will keep putting that pressure on. They work hard to get into a position that they need to be in, and then once they get there, they can then rest rather than rushing to get there as the ball goes. They work very, very hard off the ball, Forestville. Obviously something that Anthony Tolhurst has worked on with them.
Yeah, absolutely. Transition is key. You can see they've set up a bit of a web here. This is where the overhead would come into play very nicely.
They've gone the self pass again, and it's gone right back there, and they've just switched it across. So North East have managed to think their way out of that one as Eagle starts to look, and she just moves it inside to Stahl. Stahl just pushes it out very, very wide and very, very deep to Cass, the captain.
Lucky.
Just can't trap it,
Was,
unfortunately.
Very smart play, actually, from North East to go back inside. We saw the Forestville midfield slide to the line. They played that ball back inside and really opened up the play.
Wonderful diagonal ball from Eagle all the way into that corner, and unfortunately Cass, the 30-year-old from Loxton, just couldn't get it under control. Someone's asking whether Michaela Milne is playing. I can't see a name in front of me, so I don't think she is tonight.
Certainly not on the list at this moment.
Again, they're going to come all the way back. And again, a reminder for those of you who this is your first PL Friday, there are no draws in the Premier League. If we are all tied up at the final siren, we will go into a period of golden goal, and then we will go on to one-on-ones.
I'd love to see some one-on-ones.
It would be a first for me.
Okay.
It certainly would be a first for me. But we are a long way away from that. There is still time in this with just over 5 minutes to go. There's still time in this for a winner. And Forestville just looking at little passes.
See a triple team there. Well done by North East.
Certainly closed her down and didn't give her many options out of there. Just managing to nutmeg Egan, and Hammond again has managed to put that pressure on and come away with it. Fortunately, a little bit heavy in that tackle, and North East can come away.
A little unlucky there, I thought, Hammond.
Now, for me, it looks like North East. If this was a game where you would settle for a draw, they look like they've settled. There doesn't seem to be the the intensity that you would expect when you draw in with 5 minutes to go.
I think they've lost that element of composure that they've had throughout as well. It'd be a little bit frustrating for Ashley Thompson on the bench, just trying to calm them down. Starting to hit long.
That should go all the way through. Beck Axford is going to chase after it, but Beck Axford is going to go and act as the ball girl. Because it is a long corner, it just deflected off a Forestville stick, and that red blob that you could see on your screen just then was Super Coach Ashley Thompson. Good intercepting there, and
well done not to knock it out. Just hit a foot and you can set up your structure. It's very well played.
She's certainly been one of the more composed defenders for North East, Darcy Blischke.
She has. She's made a lot of intercepts. Enjoyed watching her play
And
tonight.
of course we give her the commentator's curse because she's been very, very composed all the way through and managed to pick passes rather than just lashing away. And I think she had the right idea there. Unfortunately, she just wasn't on the same page as her teammate down there in that corner.
It's given Forestville the opportunity to set up the web again here.
Again, we see them go back to just in front of the keeper and look to switch it across that side. And they have managed to work their way there, but again, Forestville's pressure up high is very, very good, and they've improved as they've gone through the game. They just keep improving, they keep getting better. And good little first touch and pass. Now it's Axford putting the pressure on, but again, just a little bit too boisterous for Charmaine Collette. Or Collett, I'm not sure which way around it is.
Charmaine Collett it is, yeah.
So that little reverse pass has managed to work its way through, and Forestville can look for the circle entry, which they got with Hammond. It was all about the control, and they just managed to find a foot just outside that circle. Evans flirting with the 5 meter zone for that free hit. Managed to get away with it, and they do have a 3-on-2 now. If they can find their pass, they've got Cass working into that right-hand side. She's there, she has a runner in the middle. Good goalkeeping. Managing to kick away that danger. She had the runner in the middle in Collings, and the goalkeeper, Steph Fisher, who making a Premier League debut this year.
It's done well. Nice little basic skill, kicking the ball out to the sideline there. I think there's been a big change in the momentum, as we keep saying, but Jess Martin-Brown is probably starting to get the upper hand on Kendra. She's gone a little bit quiet this last 2 minutes. She's really going to have to assert herself on the match, I think.
Couldn't get control of it, but Hammond has managed to find it, and will just move it out right to Yateman. Again, just couldn't get that ball under control. But Forestville certainly have grown into this competition. They're certainly now starting to push with 2 minutes of normal time to go. We could see our first extra time in PL Friday night. So that hit pass just wasn't really to anybody and goes out.
That's an element of composure again. I think, stick to your game plan that you've been worked so well for North East, and starting to go away from that just under the pressure of the time. You'll be able to stay in the moment and complete your skills.
Obviously, the South Australian public is aware of the drama, as we are now up to 100 people watching this, so the audience has grown as we start to get into this extremely tense time here at the Hockey Centre at Jeps Cross. There's Salvendran just working there, and that's starting to be a big battle between those two, Salvendran and Yateman. Salvendran just gets the better of it. That's a good outlet pass. He didn't blaze away, but there is a line there for Hammond, and it has popped through, so Hammond has managed to get going. She will make that circle entry as she approaches the line on that backside. She pulls it across. Oh, there was a Forest player there. It's going to come back in, probably. It will probably come back in as she fires it back, and she's got it under control, and it's still there, and goal!
Oh, it's in!
Less than a minute, and we have the goal, and Forestville go up 2-1. Less than a minute on the field, on the clock. Just see whether I can get a number for the goal scorer, as the Forestville coach almost runs on and starts taking control of the game himself. High drama here at Jeps Cross with just around 25 seconds to the siren, as Evans will start to work into that.
as you see, you know, for North East, if they don't take their opportunities, you can be hurt at the other end. Only 7 seconds left on the clock, so Forestville will certainly want to be popping it in the pockets and work their way around the outside. It's a good comeback from Forestville to take the match.
Well, that is how we like to end a game on a Friday night. What a way to end our first game with that last-minute goal, literally a last-minute goal, with Forestville winning that one 2-1. They certainly grew into that game. A little bit slow at the beginning of the game and was starting to go. Obviously, wise words from Anthony Tolhurst at half-time.
Yeah, I think Anthony will be very happy with that. The finish grew into the game, as you said. I think that's a very good call, and managed to win the ball in the press a lot more and score right at the death.
Ashley Thompson shouldn't be too disappointed there. They played some good hockey at times, and the short corner routine was very, very good. And Sylvendrin and that spine that we talked about, Stoll, Sylvendrin, Evans, they certainly were part of it, and they'll certainly be a tough team to beat. Been a wonderful first game. Let's hope that the men can live up to what the women have done. It's been absolutely fantastic. Make sure you join us for that one. Congratulations to the Forestville Panthers on their win. We will just go for a short break, and we will be back with you for the men's game very, very shortly.
Care